Thank you very much, MCs, for the lovely introduction. Today, I have to say, as I stand here, I'm here because of all of you. All of you, my friends, my supporters, many of you have worked with us along the years. So now, today, I first want to show gratitude for all of you for coming here in our first gala after a 4-year lapse. So our last gala was 2019. So here, I can see that you all are enjoying yourself, and I would like to share with you some of our thoughts and some of the future directions for Project Vietnam. So, as you know, as we stand here, none of us expected the pandemic to come. The pandemic was a total surprise. And we didn't expect to have a war, which now has lasted over a year at this time. So we have to learn how to be hopeful and resilient. And when we're talking about hope and resilience, which is a theme of this fundraiser, so I want to tell you that hope in this instance doesn't mean that here I stand, but I can still wear this outside from 10 years ago. To me, that's hope. And resilience doesn't mean that I've already totaled 4 cars and I'm still here. So we are talking about the effect of this unexpected pandemic, the changes in the world. The world that we have now is no longer what we know it to be. And of course, it has a deep impact, an impact on the youngest of all of us, on the developing brain of the children, on the physical problems which get delayed, and they have a tremendous amount of delayed care. As you will be presented with some of the work of Project Vietnam along the years, then you will see that where do we prioritize? We prioritize all the kids who have special needs, all these children born with birth deformities. In Vietnam, every year about 8,000 children are born with a cleft lip palate condition. We have recently talked to the chief of the hospital, the main hospital for orofacial surgery, and he says, please continue to do what you do because we cannot address all the problems. Imagine each of those kids will need 4 surgeries in general overall. And the hospitals in Vietnam now still have to deal with the impact of the delayed care of the last 3 years. So wherever we work, we coordinate, we follow the same network so that the children in Vietnam will still get the special needs before and after surgery. This is very important. Being Vietnamese American-led organization, we are very conscious of the environment where the children grow, and moreover, we would like to be able to create things which are sustainable in the future and which will last. So the best way is to work with our colleagues in Vietnam and the people of goodwill. I would like to recognize all the board members of Project Vietnam. I would like them to stand up. Dr. Colleen Kraft, Dr. Luan, Ed, Joyce. Thank you for giving them a warm hand. These are people who have the leading light of our association and our group, and they continue to lead. So each of them have a different function. We are a working board, so they each have to work. And when they participate on the mission, they pay their own way, as it was said before. So we truly have the conscience and the spirit of being a volunteer. But as Vietnam is recovering of the impact of COVID and is going through many society changes, in the US, we see the problems with children who are deeply depressed. Did you know that in Orange County alone, we had 17 children between the age of 15 and 24 who committed suicide in December within our midst. And these children could be friends of your own children, or they could be, they don't have any specific distinction. However, there is something we have to be aware of, that many of the children affected with depression are Asian, especially Asian female. You've seen all the lovely volunteers that we had. Project Vietnam is very fortunate to have 4 different high school clubs who work with us, from Fountain Valley High School, from Bosa Grande, from Pacifica School, and also from La Quinta High School. They are the future. So you have seen them working, and you will see them continuing through the evening to come over and present you with the raffle tickets. Please welcome them and encourage them, because we are preparing for over the next few weeks to have a mental health first aid training, working with the high school students. So hopefully when they return to their own friends and the peers, they will be the leading light to help make that difference to that friend who feels helpless and that nobody cares. So they may make a big difference in saving people. So those are some of the initiatives that we have covered, and Dr. Luan will tell you about the extremely successful surgery mission that we had. For next year, we will continue to reestablish all our work in Vietnam. In April, with a very selective group of leading authorities on early childhood development and developmental pediatricians, psychologists, child psychiatrists, we will be traveling to Vietnam to continue a mission to help establish the foundations for a system to serve children with special needs and children with learning problems, children with autism. I am sure that each of you know of several families with children who have that autistic spectrum disorder. And we know that among those children, at least 50% have normal intelligence. And given the chance to, some of them may be the leading lights, such as Bill Gates, such as Steve Jobs, such as Elon Musk, for example, who are people that we all are working with, and the world is feeling the impact. They all are people who are special, and we want to give a chance to those children. This is some of the impact that I see the most long-lasting. So I will tell you one story. So in 2016, which is before the pandemic, we went to the province of Quảng Trị. That province is very special to all of us from South Vietnam, especially the people who worked during the war, because it's right at the 17th parallel, the border of where the fighting was. My husband, as an airborne officer and medic, was stationed there as well. So that the first time I came there, I was sitting next to one of the leaders of the province, and he was telling me, I have a son, my first son. Now, when he was born, he wasn't talking, and we sought all the people who could help, and then we tried to put him in all different type of education, but it was not successful. So when he became 10 years old, my wife and I thought, what will happen to this child when we are no longer? So we made the decision of having a second child. So they had a second child, and they prayed really hard that that second child will be normal. he did turn out to be normal. But can you imagine that second child was born with the burden of having to take care of a sibling who is very severely autistic? Wherever there is very little resources to support and help the learning of those kids, can you imagine the drama or the despair of those families in Vietnam? So what we have created so far, Project Vietnam, was able to function and work during the pandemic. Actually, we ramped up. We even made it more, and we worked very strongly online, and we were able to secure the permission of Vanderbilt University to let us use and copyright the testing for children as young as 14 months old can be tested for autism. And that has been launched, and currently it has been recognized as a valuable tool by the Ministry of Health. So we will continue that route. Next year, in the summer, our primary care team will return to Vietnam. In April, also, our dental team is going to go to areas, to an island in South Vietnam with very little resources. The teeth are terrible there, so they will be of help. And we are working on establishing a project which will allow very cheap 3D lenses to be given to the children of Vietnam who have needs. So all these things, there is a lot of exciting things happening. We have never given up. So please stay with us. We want to be very vibrant, and we want to be extremely relevant. So to allow you to continue and enjoy the entertainment in your meal, I will tell you one last story. And that story is about hope and resilience. So at one of the American Academy Pediatric meeting, the AAP is very important for me because it is a home for advocacy for children everywhere in the world. And we have the honor of having on the board of Project Vietnam one of the past presidents of the American Academy of Pediatrics. Dr. Quynh is a past president. Thank you, Quynh, and your encouragement. So this psychiatrist who is famous in the United States for doing a lot of work for children in foster homes said she was Armenian, so for some reason, and was taken care of by her grandparents because her parents passed away early. But by the greatest of bad luck, both grandparents passed away very shortly, within a few months from each other. So she thought that somebody in the family would take care of her, but nobody stepped up. So she had to go through the foster care system. And she said, in those dark years where you are shuffled from one home to the next, because as a teen, it is very difficult to find a foster home. The only light which helped her to keep hope was that every year she had to be seen to have her pediatric exam. And there was an old pediatrician who would see her, check on her, listen to her, ask her, and was willing to listen to her dreams, and told her, I believe you can do it. And she said that was the only light in the tunnel for her all these years. This old pediatrician here, I have had 43 years of pediatrics. I hope to be that old pediatrician for that doctor. So please join me, all of you, so that we can continue to give hope and resilience to the children with special needs that we help, from the physical deformity to the ones who don't have access to care, to the ones with special needs for development. Thank you very much.